Vardro's Prime was a cold and cruel place. The slave market there was loud, filled with shouts and rough voices. Metal cages lined the streets, holding people from different worlds. Some cried, some stared into nothing. None of them had hope left. Lyrian sat in the far corner of one such cage. Her silver skin was bruised, her hair dirty and tangled. Chains were tight around her ankles and wrists. She had once been proud, once been strong, but that was a long time ago. She had not spoken in days. There was no one to listen anyway. She had been taken from her home planet, Thalana, during a raid. Thalana was peaceful, a place of soft winds and glowing trees. Her people knew healing, not fighting. When the raiders came, they took many. Lyrian had tried to fight, but she was too young, too scared. They chained her and sold her like an object. Since then, she had been passed from one owner to another, each worse than the last stop today. The market was especially loud. A new group of buyers had arrived. Traders barked out the names and prices of those for sale. Lyrian heard them, but she no longer cared. She stared at the ground, wishing to disappear. Then a voice spoke calm and different. That one. Lyrian looked up. A man was standing outside the cage. He was human, with short brown hair and kind eyes. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't laughing like the others. He was just looking at her. The trader laughed. That one? She's useless. Won't talk, barely eats, damaged goods. I'll take her, the man said again. Fine, your loss. The trader unlocked the cage and kicked it open. Lyrian didn't move. She thought it was another trick. But the man stepped forward, crouched beside her, and offered his hand. My name is Aaron. I'm here to help you. She stared at his hand, unsure. Slowly she reached out. He didn't pull her. He didn't shout. He just helped her to her feet. The chains clanked as she stood. Aaron turned to the trader. Take these off. No refunds if she runs. I said take them off. With a sigh, the trader removed the chains. Lyrian winced at the sudden freedom. Her arms were sore. Her legs trembled. Aaron walked her through the crowd. People stared, whispered, some laughed. Lyrian felt shame, fear, confusion. But Aaron stayed close, speaking softly. You're safe now. No one will hurt you again. He led her to a small ship. It was old but clean. Inside, the air was warm, the lights soft. He gave her a blanket and a bottle of water. You can sit. Rest. No one is going to make you do anything. Lyrian sat on the floor, still unsure. Aaron sat nearby but not too close. He didn't ask questions. He didn't look at her like the others had. After some time, he brought her food. She ate slowly, eyes watching him the whole time. Do you have a name? He asked gently. She hesitated, then whispered, Lyrian. Aaron smiled. That's a beautiful name. She didn't smile back, but inside, something small moved. A piece of her heart that had gone cold began to warm. She didn't understand why this human was different. She didn't know what he wanted. But for the first time in many years, she felt a little less afraid. Later, he showed her a small room with a bed. This is yours. You can lock the door from inside. No one will enter without your say. She looked at the door, then at him. She didn't speak, but she nodded. Sleep if you can, he said. We'll talk more tomorrow. He walked away, giving her space. Lyrian stood in the room, touching the wall, the bed, the door. Everything felt strange. She sat down, then lay back. Her body was sore, but the bed was soft. She looked at the ceiling for a long time. Her mind was full of questions. Who was this? Man? Why had he saved her? Would he change? Would he become like the others? She didn't know, but for now, she was not in chains. For now, she was warm, fed, and alone in a safe place. That was enough. Lyrian closed her eyes. Sleep came slowly. But it came. And with it, a whisper of something she had lost long ago. Hope. The next morning, Lyrian woke up slowly. She didn't know where she was at first. The bed, the soft blanket, and the quiet room all felt strange. Then she remembered the human man Aaron. She remembered the market, the chains, and how he had set her free. She sat up and looked around the room again. The door was still closed. No one had come in during the night. She touched the lock and found it still turned from the inside. It was real. She was not dreaming that her legs were weak, but she stood and walked to the small mirror on the wall. She saw her face. It was thin, pale, and tired. But her eyes looked different now. There was still fear in them, but also something else. A quiet question. She stepped out of the room carefully. The ship was silent, except for a low hum. She followed the sound and found Aaron in the control room. He was sitting in the pilot's seat, watching stars outside the window. He turned when he heard her. "Good morning," he said with a calm smile. "Did you sleep okay?" Lyrian nodded. She didn't know what to say. Aaron didn't ask more. He stood up and walked to a small table. "Are you hungry? I made some food. Simple stuff, but warm." He placed a plate on the table and stepped back. Lyrian moved slowly, sitting down. She began to eat. The food was plain, but it was fresh and warm. No one had ever asked her if she was hungry before. Aaron watched quietly, not speaking until she finished. "I know it's a lot to take in," he said. "You don't have to talk if you don't want to, but I want you to know something. I didn't buy you to own you. I bought your freedom." Lyrian looked at him. Her voice was soft. "Why?" Aaron sat down across from her. "Because it was wrong. No one should live like that. I saw you in that cage, and I couldn't walk away." She looked down at her hands. "I don't understand. You don't know me. I don't need to. You're a person. That's enough." They sat in silence for a while. The ship moved gently through space. It felt peaceful. Lyrian still didn't know if she could trust him, but his words felt true. She didn't feel fear when he spoke. That was new. Later, Aaron showed her around the ship. It was not big, but it was clean and organized. He showed her the kitchen, the storage rooms, and the medical kit. He even showed her the emergency button in case something went wrong. "You can go anywhere on this ship," he said. "Nothing is locked from you. You're free here." She nodded again. Words still came hard, but she was listening. She followed him back to the control room. He pointed at a small chair beside his own. "You can sit here if you like. Watch the stars with me." Lyrian sat down. The stars outside were endless. She had not seen space like this in a long time. From a cage, she could only see cold walls. Now she saw light and movement. She didn't speak, but her eyes stayed on the window. Hours passed slowly. Aaron worked quietly, checking the ship's systems. Sometimes he talked about space, about the different planets he had seen, about quiet places where no one asked questions. Lyrian listened. Her body was still tired, but her mind was starting to wake up. At one point, Aaron left the room and came back with something small in his hand. "I fixed this for you," he said. He gave her a small silver bracelet. It was old and a bit scratched. Lyrian's eyes widened. It was hers. She had worn it back on Thelena. The raiders had taken it. "I found it in your things. I thought it might mean something to you." She touched the bracelet gently. Her fingers trembled. "Thank you," she whispered. Aaron smiled. "You're welcome." That night, Lyrian went back to her room. She locked the door again, but not out of fear. She did it out of habit. She looked at the bracelet in her hand for a long time. Then she placed it on her wrist. For the first time in years, she felt like herself again. A small part of her, the part that had not been broken, was beginning to return. She didn't know what the future would bring. She didn't know how long this safety would last, but she was no longer a slave. She had a name, a voice, and a place to sleep. And somewhere, deep inside, a small light had started to grow. Lyrian woke up to the soft hum of the ship again. She sat up in bed and looked at her bracelet. It was still on her wrist. She remembered Aaron's gentle smile when he gave it to her. For a moment, she allowed herself to feel happy. She got up and left the room. The hallway was quiet. She walked slowly, still a little afraid, but each step felt easier than before. She found Aaron in the small kitchen area, making breakfast. He looked up and smiled when he saw her. "Good morning, Lyrian. Did you sleep?" "Well," she nodded. "Yes, thank you." He handed her a bowl of warm food and a cup of water. She sat down at the little table. For a while, they ate in silence. It was a comfortable silence. Lyrian noticed she was not afraid of him anymore. She watched the way he moved, how he never rushed her or tried to touch her without asking. After breakfast, Aaron started working on a broken piece of equipment. Lyrian watched him from the doorway. She was curious. Back on Thalana, she had learned about technology, but she had not touched any machine since being taken. Aaron noticed her interest. "Would you like to help?" He asked. She hesitated, then nodded. He showed her the tools and explained what he was fixing. Lyrian listened carefully. Her hand shook a little, but Aaron was patient. He let her try to fix a small wire. When she did it right, he smiled. "You did well," he said. "You have a steady hand." Lyrian felt a small pride in her chest. It had been so long since anyone said she was good at something. She wanted to learn more. Aaron let her help with other small tasks around the ship. They worked side by side for hours. Sometimes Aaron talked about his travels. He told stories about strange planets and friendly people he had met. Lyrian listened with interest. She asked a few questions, her voice quiet but growing stronger. As the day went on, Lyrian started to feel less like a stranger on the ship. She learned where things were stored. She learned how to read some of the buttons on the control panel. She began to believe she could have a place here, even if only for a little while. Later that day, Aaron asked, "Would you like to see where we are going?" Lyrian nodded. Aaron showed her the star maps and explained their route. "We are heading toward a small space station. It is safe. We can get supplies there." Lyrian looked at the map and saw how far they were from Thalana. She felt a little sadness, but also a new sense of hope. Maybe one day she could go home. After a while, Aaron asked, "Do you want to send a message to anyone?" Lyrian thought about her family, but she shook her head. "It's not safe," she said quietly. "If they know I am alive, they may be in danger." Aaron nodded. "I understand. When you are ready, we can try." That night, Lyrian sat alone in her room, thinking about her new life. The ship was small, but it felt big after so much time in chains. She thought about Aaron's kindness. She thought about the future. She held her bracelet and closed her eyes. In her dreams, she saw Thalana. She saw the glowing trees, the gentle winds, her family laughing. For the first time in a long time, she did not wake up afraid. She woke up with a small smile on her lips. Over the next few days, Lyrian learned more about the ship. She cleaned her room and even helped cook a simple meal. Aaron taught her how to use the emergency radio. He showed her how to read the engine signals. Lyrian liked feeling useful. Each new skill made her feel stronger. One day, Aaron asked, "Do you like music?" Lyrian looked surprised. She had not heard music in so long. Aaron brought out a small player and put on a gentle song. The music filled the room. Lyrian listened, her eyes shining. She smiled at Aaron, and he smiled back. They listened to the music together. For a moment, all the pain and fear faded away. That night, Lyrian sat by the window, looking at the stars. She remembered her chains, the cold cages, and the harsh voices. Now she was here, on a ship with a kind human. She was not fully healed. Sometimes she still woke up in fear. But every day, she grew stronger. Every day, she trusted a little more. She did not know what would happen next. But she knew she was no longer alone. She had a friend. She had hope. And that was enough. Days passed, and Lyrian slowly felt more comfortable on the ship. She learned how to help with daily tasks and started to smile more often. Aaron was always patient. He never asked too many questions and never forced her to speak about her past. But sometimes at night, Lyrian remembered her old life. She would hold her bracelet tightly and think about her family and her home, Dalina. She missed the sound of the wind in the crystal forest, the songs her mother used to sing, and the way her father used to laugh. One evening, Aaron found her sitting by the window, looking at the stars. He sat down nearby, but not too close. He always made sure she felt safe. "You miss your home," he said gently. Lyrian nodded. "I do. It was peaceful. I was happy there." Aaron listened quietly. Lyrian looked at her hands. Her voice was soft. "I was not just anyone on Thelina. My family ... They were important." Aaron waited. He wanted her to tell her story only if she wished. Lyrian took a deep breath. "My family helped lead our people. My mother was a healer. My father worked with the council. When the raiders came, they wanted to take someone important. They thought they could use me. I tried to hide, but they found me." Aaron listened without saying a word. Lyrian felt tears on her cheeks. She wiped them away. "I thought I would never be free again. I thought I would never see my home." Aaron said quietly, "You are free now. I will never let anyone hurt you again." Lyrian nodded. For the first time, she believed his words. She wanted to tell him more, so she shared stories about Thelana. She spoke about the healing ghouls, the gentle festivals, and the night sky that glowed with blue light. Aaron listened, smiling. He said, "Your world sounds beautiful." That night, Lyrian slept better than before. She dreamed of Thelana, but this time, the dream was peaceful. The next day, the ship reached the small space station Aaron had spoken about. It was a quiet place, not like the busy markets. Aaron told Lyrian she could stay on the ship if she wanted, but she decided to go with him. She wrapped herself in a long cloak to hide her face. They walked through the station together. Aaron greeted the people kindly, and they treated him with respect. Lyrian stayed close to him, but she was curious. She watched the way the people talked and laughed. No one looked at her with anger or hate. Aaron bought supplies and some fresh food. He also found some soft cloth and gave it to Lyrian so she could have new clothes. She smiled and thanked him. It felt good to have something of her own again. As they returned to the ship, Aaron said, "You did well. I know it is not easy to trust people again." Lyrian nodded. "It was not as scary as I thought." Back on the ship, Lyrian made a small meal. For them, she was starting to feel more at home. After dinner, Aaron sat down and looked at her. "I want to help you, Lyrian. Not just now, but always. If you want to go home one day, I will help you." Lyrian looked at him with hope. "Do you mean it?" "I do," Aaron said, "but only when you are ready." Lyrian felt her heart grow lighter. She believed him. She said, "Maybe we can help others too. There are many like me who are still not free." Aaron nodded. "If that is what you want, we can try." That night, Lyrian felt different. She was not just a lost girl anymore. She was someone who could help others. She started to dream of a future where she could return home and maybe help her people. She was not alone. She had Aaron. She had hope. As the stars drifted by outside the window, Lyrian knew she was changing. Her fear was turning into strength. She was ready to take her first steps toward a new life. The next days on the ship felt calm, but something in the air changed. Lyrian noticed Aaron checking the ship's security more often. He changed their route twice and did not explain much, but she could feel he was worried. One evening, when the stars outside were bright, Aaron spoke quietly to Lyrian while they ate dinner. "Some people may have learned you are with me. It's possible someone is following us." Lyrian felt cold fear in her chest. She remembered the cruel faces of the raiders who first took her from Thelina. "Do you think they are coming?" she asked. Aaron nodded. "It is possible, but we will be careful." I have dealt with trouble before. After that, Lyrian was more careful too. She watched the screens with Aaron, learning how to see if another ship was close. They kept the lights low at night and checked the doors twice before sleeping. Lyrian tried to be brave, but the old fear came back sometimes. Aaron always spoke calmly and told her that she was safe with him. It helped her to hear those words. A few days later, it happened. While Aaron was fixing a part of the engine, the warning light started to blink. Lyrian was in the control room. She looked at the screen and saw a small ship coming fast. Her hand shook, but she called for Aaron. He came running. "You did well," he said. He checked the controls and tried to change their path, but the other ship was faster. Soon, the enemy ship stopped them and sent a message. Aaron told Lyrian to hide in a secret room behind the supply closet. She did not want to hide, but he said it was safer. She listened as he opened the channel and spoke with the raiders. Their voices were angry and harsh. They demanded Aaron give them the Thalanary girl. Aaron answered, "She is not here. You are wasting your time." The raiders did not believe him. They forced their way onto the ship. Lyrian listened to heavy boots and shouting. She was scared, but she held her bracelet and tried to stay quiet. Then she heard a struggle. Someone cried out. She did not know if it was Aaron. She waited for as long as she could. But when the voices grew louder and the door to her hiding place started to open, something inside her changed. She remembered the gentle strength of her family, the way her mother healed others, and the hope Aaron gave her. She would not go back to change Dot when the door opened. Lyrian was ready. The raider tried to grab her, but she ducked under his arm and ran toward the control room. Aaron was fighting with another raider. Lyrian saw a small stun device on the floor. She picked it up and pressed it against the attacker. The man fell to the ground. Aaron looked at her with surprise and pride. Together, they faced the last raider. Lyrian remembered some old skills from her childhood, small tricks her father taught her. She used them to distract the enemy while Aaron finished the fight. When it was over, Aaron checked to make sure she was safe. He hugged her, and she did not pull away. She realized she was not helpless anymore. She had fought back. After the raiders were gone, Aaron sent out a message for help. The station sent a team to check their ship and take the prisoners away. The officers thanked Lyrian for her bravery. She felt proud but also tired. That night, Lyrian and Aaron sat together in the kitchen. They did not need many words. Lyrian knew she had changed. She was not just a girl who needed saving. She had saved herself and helped her friend. Aaron told her, "You were very brave." "I am proud of you." Lyrian smiled for the first time that day. She said, "Thank you for believing in me." Aaron nodded. "You are stronger than you know." Lyrian felt stronger. She was not only free, but able to help others too. She was ready for whatever came next. After the attack by the raiders, the ship felt different to Lyrian. She was not only free, she was strong now. She spent more time with Aaron, learning more about the ship and how to protect herself. They cleaned up the damage the raiders had. Aaron fixed the door and checked all the systems. Lyrian helped wherever she could, feeling proud when Aaron said she did a good job. One morning, as Aaron checked the navigation charts, he looked at Lyrian and said, "There is something. I want to show you." He opened a hidden compartment and pulled out a small box. Inside were old papers and a special coin. He told Lyrian about his past. He used to work for a group that helped people escape from dangerous places. "I have helped many people find safety," he said. "But I never thought I would meet someone as brave as you." Lyrian listened quietly. She realized Aaron also carried pain. He had lost friends, and sometimes he felt alone. But helping others gave him hope. Lyrian felt close to Aaron when he told her his story. She knew now that everyone has scars, not just her. They decided to help more people. Lyrian and Aaron started planning. They wanted to find other Thalanari who needed help. Aaron sent messages to a few friends who worked with refugees. They agreed to help. Lyrian learned how to send coded messages and how to keep secrets. She also learned how to fly the ship in small ways. Erin trusted her with important tasks. She felt more confident each day. A few weeks later, they got a message from another refugee ship. It was lost near a small planet, and the people on board were scared. Erin and Lyrian decided to go help them. When they arrived, they found a small group of Thalaneri, tired and hungry. Lyrian helped bring them onto their ship. She gave them food, water, and blankets. She told them, "You are safe now." The new refugees looked at Lyrian with hope. She told them her story. She said she was once in chains, but was now free because of a kind human. They listened closely. Lyrian smiled at them, showing them her bracelet. "This was from my family. I never gave up hope." "You must not give up either." Erin helped fix the other ship and guided the refugees to a safe station. When they arrived, Lyrian spoke with the station officers. She was nervous but spoke clearly. She explained that these people needed help and safety. The officers agreed. Lyrian realized she was becoming a leader. She felt strong enough to help others now. She started to dream about going back to Thelana and helping her people there. Each time she helped someone, she felt her heart grow lighter. After the rescue, Erin and Lyrian traveled to different stations, talking to people about the problems on Thalana. Erin introduced Lyrian to a human diplomat. The diplomat listened carefully and promised to speak with other leaders about the situation on Thalana. Lyrian was surprised that someone wanted to help her people. She was even more surprised at how confident she felt speaking in front of others. Erin stood beside her the whole time, giving her courage. One night, as they watched the stars from the control room, Lyrian thanked Erin. "You have given me a new life," she said. "You believed in me when I could not believe in myself." Erin smiled. "You gave me hope too, Lyrian. We make a good team." Lyrian thought about her journey. She had been chained and afraid, but now she was free and strong. She was not alone. She had Erin, new friends, and a purpose. She wanted to keep helping, to give hope to others who needed it. She looked out at the stars, thinking about the future. She was ready for whatever came next. She was ready to go home, not as a prisoner, but as someone who could make a difference. Lyrian sat by the window of the ship, looking at the blue planet below. After many long weeks of travel and helping others, they were finally here. Thalana, her home world, was close. The sky outside was full of soft lights and stars, and Lyrian's heart beat fast with hope and worry. She remembered the days when she was a girl, running through the crystal forest, laughing with her friends and family. Now, she was not the same girl. She was stronger, but she was also afraid of what she might find. Erin stood next to her, watching the world spin below. He put his hand gently on her shoulder. "Are you ready?" he asked. Lyrian took a deep breath. "I think I am. I have dreamed of this day. I did not think it would come." Erin smiled. "You are not alone, Lyrian. I will be with you. We will face whatever comes together." They sent a message to the surface. Lyrian spoke carefully, using her name and her family symbol, which Erin had helped her keep safe. The answer came back. Her people remembered her. They were still there, though tired and scared from years under the rule of the invaders. They wanted to see her again. When the small shuttle landed on the planet, Lyrian stepped onto the soft ground and looked around. The air was cool and smelled sweet, just as she remembered. People gathered, unsure at first, but then some faces broke into smiles and tears. Lyrian saw her old friends and cousins. She hugged them, and they held her tightly. The reunion was quiet, full of tears and gentle words. Lyrian saw her mother, who had grown thin and tired but was alive. Her mother hugged her for a long time, and Lyrian cried in her arms. Erin watched from a short distance, letting Lyrian have her moment. He was proud of her. She had come so far, and now her people looked to her for hope. The next days were busy. Lyrian met with leaders and told them her story. She showed them the messages from the human diplomat who wanted to help. She explained how she and Aaron had rescued others and how people on other worlds wanted peace. Lyrian asked her people to stand up for themselves, but to do it with hope, not anger. She told them they were not alone. There were good people in the galaxy who cared. With Aaron's help, Lyrian led meetings with the rulers from the invaders. She showed proof of the cruelty her people had suffered. She asked for freedom and respect, not just for herself, but for all Thalanari. Many voices joined her. With support from humans and others who believed in peace, the invaders agreed to leave. The leaders from other worlds promised to protect Thalana when the last enemy ships left the sky. The people of Thalana cheered. Lyrian stood with Aaron on a small hill, watching her world begin to heal. There were still many things to fix. But hope was bright again. Her family wanted her to stay and help rebuild, but Lyrian felt her journey was not over. She had changed too much to stay in one place. She told her mother, "I want to help others like Aaron helped me. I want to travel, bring hope to those who have none." Her mother understood. "You are strong, Lyrian. You are not just my daughter. You are hope for many." Aaron smiled when Lyrian told him her choice. "We can do great things together. The galaxy is full of people who need help." Lyrian and Aaron left Thalana with warm goodbyes and promises to return. They took with them new hope and new friends. As they flew away from the blue planet, Lyrian looked at her bracelet, a gift from her past, and then at Aaron, who was now her friend and partner. They traveled from world to world, spreading hope and kindness. Wherever they went, they remembered that one act of kindness could change everything. Lyrian never forgot the dark days, but she was no longer afraid. She was free. She was strong. And with Aaron by her side, she was ready for every new adventure the stars could bring.